Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, founder and CEO of Lighthouse Streaming. Over the last 4 years, we've had some tremendous successes, none of which could have been accomplished without you, our clients, and our viewers. From my family and the staff of Lighthouse Streaming, thank you.
My name is Tashay Sayes. I'm a music major at MCC, and I'm so happy to be here. It's crazy how I got here.
My name is Emily Adams. I'm the marketing director for the Texas Asphalt Pavement Association. We are here at our third annual MAPS conference at the Waco Convention Center in beautiful Waco, Texas. I think the event has exceeded all of our expectations. We had an amazing turnout and great sessions and nothing but positive feedback. So this is our first conference in a convention center, and I'm used to working with hotels where there's like one person to talk to for everything. And so at the last minute, we realized we needed audio and video services. And so I contacted Lighthouse Streaming and Audio, and they were very quick to respond. They were able to, even though it was the last minute, they were able to fit us into their schedule, and they provided us with technicians and equipment to record our sessions, and we'll be able to provide the people who are speaking at those sessions with great video of themselves. I would highly recommend them. I highly recommend Lighthouse Streaming and Audio. I had nothing but a pleasant experience, and if we come back to Waco again, which we hope to do, I know I'll be in touch with them.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, CEO of Lighthouse Streaming, and you're watching Centex Sports Network.
My name is Debbie Kimbrell. I am the administrative assistant here at Anderson Chapel. I also work as part of the media ministry. It was great working with Lighthouse. Everyone was very professional, came in to do video recording and streaming for a conference that we hosted here on time. They did what they needed to do, was seamless and transparent. It was great. And feedback, everyone was impressed. So it went out, it was a conference level, so a state level event, and everyone was impressed with the product and the result. We got the DVDs too, which people purchased, and they were impressed with those. It was great overall.
Hello and welcome back into Centex Prime Time. I am your host, Jalen Gillis, getting ready to take you through the prime time topics in sports, not just here in the Central Texas area, but from all around the nation. Happy Monday to everybody out there today. We get ready to go through some of these sports topics that we've had over the last week or so. Going into this week, we've got the NBA playoffs, second round action in full effect. The New York Knicks will take on the Boston Celtics tonight, starting in about an hour, as they're playing in New York right now. New York with a 2-1 lead in that series. At 9 o'clock, Minnesota Timberwolves with a 2-1 lead over the Golden State Warriors. They will be playing at 9 o'clock tonight as well. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with us here today on Centex Primetime. For those of you that haven't already, if you're watching with us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Also, you can click the bell so you can get notified every time that we go live here, 5 to 7 p.m. right here on Centex Sports Network. Also, you can watch on Facebook. We're there on at Centex Sports Network on Facebook. You can follow me at the handle down below at Jalen Gillis on Instagram and on Twitter as well. Also, you can follow Centex Sports Network on Instagram and Twitter at Centex Sports TV and Centex Primetime as well on Instagram at Centex Primetime right there on Instagram. We'll be posting a lot more clips as we're getting into some summertime fun here on the show this over the next couple of months, folks. We've got basketball just for a few more weeks, and after that, we got to start diving into some baseball. I'll try not to hit you guys over the head too much with some Michael Jordan versus LeBron James debates and stuff like that. We'll get some good content going out. Also, we'll be doing a lot more locally with a lot of guys here in the Central Texas area to be able to cover some more sports. Well, folks, the prevailing sports topic today outside of the NBA playoffs going on is that Giannis The Greek Freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo, whichever one you decide to call him, is reportedly open-minded about a trade from the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, obviously, to some people this was a shock, but for a lot of people like myself, nothing about this was shocking. 4 straight first-round exits for the Bucks since they won a championship in 2021. I believe they would have won the championship in 2022 if Giannis and Chris Middleton and all those guys did not get hurt. They traded Drew Holiday after that. He goes to Boston, wins there. The Bucks, only first-round exit since then. Damian Lillard in his playoffs, already 32 years old, but comes off of a blood clot issue that he had going on. He was out for about a couple of months. Comes back from that just to tear his Achilles in the playoffs. And, that was really sad to see. But with the business side of that, he's got a couple more years on his contract. He's aging. He'll be, by the time he comes back, because he's not going to play next year, so by the time he comes back, he'll be 35 years old, going into being 36 years old, somewhere around there. Coming off of a torn Achilles, and you never know how some people are going to play after that. I think about guys like Klay Thompson, who never really looked the same to me after that. The anomaly is Kevin Durant. People will try to point to Kevin Durant and say, oh, well, Kevin Durant came back from Achilles. Well, Kevin Durant's game didn't need him to have his Achilles that much, I guess, if that makes sense, more than some other players. He's not moving side to side a lot. He's not playing above the rim. He's kind of just a really tall guy, just pull-up jumper, easy money sniper. We're talking about KD. For Dame, he needs a little bit more torque, I guess you could say, on that Achilles to get off the kind of shots that he needs to get off. So there's a big question mark with that. Brook Lopez is about 35. Bobby Portis is getting older on that roster as well. And this is already a roster that didn't have a lot of talent. So you take Dame off of that. You put Brook Lopez a whole nother year older. The Kyle Kuzma trade so far has not worked out whatsoever. What is the future for the Bucks? What is the future for Giannis? I think Giannis, I said it before he decided to come out with this, that Giannis should go ahead and ask for a trade. Because the Milwaukee Bucks are not building in a direction that Giannis wants to go. Giannis is about to enter into his 30s. Giannis is still one of the best players in the league by far. He's right in there with Nikola Jokic in my eyes, and it's probably those two guys as the best 2 players in the league. You can easily build a team around him. He is dominant on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. Even in their losing efforts against the Pacers in their last series, he's putting up ridiculous numbers night in and night out. The Bucks, they've squeezed all the juice out of this orange, I guess you could say. There's nothing much left that Giannis can do in Milwaukee. He brought a title to that city, a city that hasn't won a title since 1971, I think, with Kareem and Oscar Robertson. Probably the last time those guys won a championship. Outside of that, then they do it again in 2021. So he solidifies himself as in Bucks history. He's going to be the greatest Milwaukee Buck of all time. But he served his time, man. He did what he was supposed to do. Now he wants to go somewhere and win. The question is, where do you see him going? Now, a lot of people have obviously speculated on the Rockets, and obviously I wouldn't be mad about that if the Rockets were to get Giannis. I'm a Rockets fan. But I'm leaning more towards we need to get a Kevin Durant, not give up as much. If we get Giannis, we're going to have to give up the farm to get him. We'll have to give up Jalen Green, which I'm cool with that. We have to give up Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, maybe Reed Shepherd, and still 3 or 4 or 5 more picks. If we get Kevin Durant, you might can just give up Jalen Green and maybe somebody else and a couple of picks, and we'll call it even. But I wouldn't be mad at that. Some people are pointing towards OKC because they've got just a boatload of picks. But I don't know if I would trade that team chemistry for Giannis in what Oklahoma City has built up so far. OKC might go to the finals this year. We still don't know. They're in a battle right now. They just tied it up 2-2 with Denver. But defensively, and we'll talk about OKC a little bit later on in the show, defensively they've got a championship defense on that team. Shea is going to have to step up and play a little bit better than I feel like he's been playing in these last few series. But Oklahoma City's future is bright. Jalen Williams, an all-star. Chet Holmgren, probably a future all-star. Lots of good role players. Still got tons of picks. I think if I'm OKC, I'm more interested in going to try to get Cooper Flag, depending on who gets that number 1 pick in this NBA draft lottery that we're about to see. I give up all of those picks to get that number 1 pick and get Cooper Flag, not because he's just some type of all-time talent, but because if you put Cooper Flag in on that team, I mean, it's endless possibilities. I mean, you could put him at the 3, you could put him at the 4, you could put him wherever you want to put him out there with that lineup with a Hartenstein and a Chet Holmgren, J-Dub, Shea. I mean, Cooper Flag added into that mix. That's pretty crazy to even think about. So I don't know how OKC how that would pan out for the Bucks and trading to OKC. I've seen obviously people talking about Miami. I don't think Miami gets it done. I don't know if they have enough assets to be able to pull that off. So there's going to be a bevy of options for Giannis to be able to go to. Obviously, they've already started making up trade places for him and where he best fits at. Like I said, I mean, the Rockets will be okay, but I'd like to see him somewhere in a bigger market. A lot of people saying, Brooklyn, that would be bad to go there and move to Brooklyn. It would be bad, but as him being an international star, I don't think that would be bad. You get to be in New York in the Mecca, and you'll be the face of, the face of basketball going to New York. I would think the same for Nikola Jokic. I don't think he's ever leaving Denver, but if he was to, you got to get to a huge market. You got to get to New York or you got to get to L.A., Chicago, some places like that. I don't see Milwaukee making a trade with Chicago as they're right in their division. They don't want to do that. But Chicago would be a nice place to see Giannis to go. Just one of these big markets. That's where I would like to see him go. He's already spent enough time in Milwaukee in a small market. Let's see Giannis be able to branch out and go to some other places. That's what I would like to be able to see. But like I said, that is the breaking news that started off a lot of sports days, a lot of sports talks today. Is Giannis demanding that trade? We'll be talking about that all week, folks. We don't know where he's going to go. He just said right now, he said he's open-minded. He hadn't even come out and demanded a trade or requested a trade. He's open-minded. Giannis doesn't want to mess up his image of his loyalty to his team and all that kind of stuff, so they'll say different wording like open-minded about trade as opposed to him saying, hey, just go ahead and trade me, bro. I'm trying to go to Miami. I'm trying to go to Golden State. I'm trying to go wherever he's trying to go. Golden State's not a bad option either. I don't know what they give up. They just went and got Jimmy. But if they had something to give up, another big market, goes to the West Coast, gets out of a Milwaukee, I wouldn't be mad at seeing him there too. But there's a lot of options for him. I've seen some people say the Grizzlies, if they trade Ja, maybe somebody else. Of course, the Lakers, they're like Cowboys fans. They're going to throw themselves in the mix some kind of way and saying, oh, man, he should go out there with LeBron and Luka. Like, what are they going to trade, bro? The Lakers have 1 first-round pick. 1. What are they going to trade to get Giannis? Austin Reeves, who just got a whopping 18 points a game in the playoffs, as the Lakers got gentlemen swept by the Timberwolves. So that's not happening at all. The Knicks, interesting, I guess you could say. They do have people they could give up. They don't have a lot of picks they could give up. They just gave up 4 first-round picks to get Mikal Bridges. I don't know if you blow that whole thing up to be able to. I don't know if you blow that whole thing up to be able to come in there and say, hey, we'll get a Giannis in there, and then you don't even know if Milwaukee would agree to something like that because who exactly is Milwaukee going to get back in return if they do make a trade to the Knicks? You got Mikal Bridges, OG, and Anunoby, people like that, but I don't know if that's enough to validate a Giannis trade. But as of right now, hasn't come out and requested a trade, just says he is open-minded, as we'll leave it as far as him getting a trade out of Milwaukee. Folks, joining me here on the show today, we've got a familiar face here on the show, the voice that you heard all season long right here on Centex Sports Network for La Vega Pirate High School football. Mr. Cedric Eigelhart in the building. Ced, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, guy?
Hey, nothing much. Just got done talking about, man, this Giannis situation and him being open-minded to a trade out of Milwaukee. They got to do some different wording. He doesn't want to come straight out and say that, hey, I need a trade. I'm requesting a trade. Yeah. So they put a little bit different wording on it and said he's open-minded to a trade. We talked about it a little bit last week when you were on the show about Giannis should be requesting a trade. Now that we're seeing that, what are you thinking about Giannis's time in Milwaukee and him getting out of there?
I think it's been good for him. He's definitely become a MVP level candidate every season. But I think it's time for him to move on. It seems like the for whatever reason, the Bucks can't seem to put anything around him.
Yeah.
For an extended amount of time. And I thought the Doc Rivers experiment was a full failure.
Full-on failure. Full-on failure.
The Kyle Kuzma trade looks ridiculous now.
Yes.
Although I thought it was a good move at the time.
Yeah, a lot of people did, but
Yeah, but he's not. He's not interested in scoring anymore. So, it's just time because the Milwaukee Bucks as a franchise. It'd be one thing if you're like, well, we're a couple of players away. They're not that close.
No, they're more than a couple. Especially when you look at the Dame situation and him turning. He's gonna miss the entire year next year if he's smart. And then after that, he comes back at 35, 36 years old.
And that was another move that they tried to make a splash with. It just didn't work out.
When you strike out that many times as an organization, you kind of have to hit the reset button. It'll force you into doing it, and that's kind of what's happening right now. Is you got to just hit the reset button. You strike out on the Dame thing, did not work. The coach didn't work with Doc Rivers. Kyle Kuzma trade didn't work. The Drew Holiday experiment went terrible as he goes and wins the championship in Boston.
Yeah.
You strike out that many times, hey man, we got a chip out of it. Most people don't get that.
Yeah,
we got a ring out of it. Let's go ahead and hit this reset button. Yeah. Try to figure out how can we build for the future there. So Giannis, like I said, open-minded about a trade. Hasn't requested anything just yet, but we'll obviously be keeping our eye on that all summer long. Another thing that happened today or in the last couple of days, I guess not breaking news, but interesting news, and it's good that we have said on here for this. Philadelphia Eagles will open up their season in 2025 taking on the Dallas Cowboys in the NFL season opener. It'll be on Thursday Night Football. I believe they say the first Thursday in September is when it will be. The season opener in the NFL obviously is always a huge deal. Everybody can't wait. By the time we're just not getting the rookie mini camp, so by the time we start getting the OTAs and training camp and Hard Knocks comes on and preseason, we're going to be dying to watch some regular season football. So everyone always wants to see that opening game. But with it being Philly versus Dallas, this adds a whole nother element to it. Shout out to the NFL office for coming up with this because I think it's a match made in heaven. You get the season opener. You get two of the strongest fan bases in the NFL.
Right.
Probably, I've always said, probably one of the last real rivalries. You got Philly and Dallas. You got Pittsburgh and Baltimore. There's not many real division rivalries in the NFL anymore. This is one of them with Dallas and Philly. What's your thoughts about Philly getting that season opener against Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah, I think it's a very smart move for the league. Especially to help this because Thursday Night Football has been a poor product.
Yes.
It really has. And I think a lot of it has to do with the quick turnaround times on the practices and things like that. And you're not allowed to hit as much as you used to during your practices. So, it just makes for that lack of preparation makes for a poor product. But this is definitely something that I can't wait to watch. Couple of things I want to see what this retooled that's not even retooled. What this reloaded Eagles roster looks like. They didn't they just plugged a couple of holes as they saw fit. I thought they used their 10 draft picks really wise. Some of them is just trade equity. Really want to see though what this Cowboy team looks like. Because I'm hearing two different things. I heard, this is Cowboys team that's going to be able to compete this year and make the NFC playoffs. If nothing more than a wild card. I still think that's a tall order when you're like the third best team in your division.
Yes,
because they are going to be that until I see otherwise. Now they did a pretty decent job in the draft. They made a splash with the George Pickens move. You got to give Lamb some kind of help.
Yeah,
so I agree with that. This is probably the best offseason I've seen the Cowboys have from a personnel standpoint in decades.
Yeah, I mean, they're always notoriously underwhelming in the NFL offseason. So for them to have a pretty decent draft like they just did, the George Pickens one can be, I think it's already a good trade, but with his ceiling, I think it can end up being a great trade for the Cowboys depending on how he's used, how it works, and this is his last year on the deal, on the contract, so they're going to have to come up with a deal for him next year. There's a lot that goes into it, but I'm thinking right with you.
If you can't find a way to put some of this immaturity in his past during his contract year, because this is the year that he wants to get paid.
Yep.
But in order to get paid, you have to put up some numbers.
Yeah.
And he'll have those opportunities on opposite side of CD Lamb. And,
all day.
And and there's no great Cowboy running back on that roster. So I expect it wouldn't shock me if they put the ball in there 45, 50 times a game.
Yeah, I'm gonna be tuned into this Cowboys training camp, and I mean I'm always tuned into Cowboys training camp because they're obviously the biggest team in Texas. But I'll be tuning a little bit more because I'm like you. I'm almost hearing two sides of this offseason. Like some people are, hey, we'll be pretty good this year. Maybe we'll get third place. And I got some other people that are like, man, this is a great draft. This is an amazing draft. We got George Pickens. We could, outside of Philly, we're not scared of anybody in the NFC type of deal. So I'm going to be tuned in this training camp to see how exactly is this team starting to mesh because you get, like you said, they don't have a dominant running game, but they've got way better options than what they've had last year.
Agreed.
If Javonte Williams is healthy, I think that'll determine a lot of what the Cowboys can and can't do because I was a guy that liked Javonte Williams when he came out of North Carolina 3 or 4 years ago when he got to Denver.
Yeah,
he's been hurt the last couple of years.
He's so injury prone.
Yeah, he's been hurt the last couple of years, really, like a lot. So it's tough it's a lot to say. And Miles Sanders, same thing. Miles Sanders, a guy that was productive when he was in Philly, but the last couple of years, his last year in Philly and then last year in Carolina, hurt. So
the thing is, Philly is going to make you look better if you're a running back because they always keep that offensive line intact. I was, and I think Miles Sanders made the Pro Bowl last year in Philly. Never really saw anything special about his game. I've never seen that.
Nice third down back, maybe a switch up the tempo between another running back and him.
If your starter goes down, he could start a couple of games for you and be serviceable. But you're not going to game plan around Miles Sanders.
No, not at all.
On offense or defense.
No. Yeah, exactly. Either one. You're not going to be doing any game planning around. And like you said, he did have a Pro Bowl type of season that last year, but I do remember a couple of those games where it's like Boston Scott scores like 3 or 4 touchdowns. So it's like it's like the offensive line has a lot to do with that. So we'll see. They draft Jaden Blue. I think he'll be more of a third down back type of guy out there because I wasn't. People think differently about him. I watched almost all Texas's games. I like him as a pass catcher out of the backfield.
Yeah.
I'm not thrilled about him as a first star.
Yeah, between tackles. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled about him as a runner.
But I think he can be. I think he can be a major contributor to that offense, especially when you throw in the fact that their offensive line is still not ready. There's still holes there. But you got these tight ends now that can help you get the ball out of Dak's hand quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious to see what the Dallas offense is going to look like.
So Dallas making headlines, and they are going to get the NFL season opener. So we'll get to hear about these Dallas Cowboys all the way leading up until that point. They'll play Philly. That's going to be a great game. Great job by the NFL to be able to get that and facilitate that game. I think that's going to be a really big one. Well, folks, it is NBA playoffs going on right now as we are in the second round. We've been talking about it for about a month. Now, yesterday, the Indiana Pacers take a 3-1 lead over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Indiana has been so far, at least to me, the surprise of this postseason. We knew that Oklahoma City was good. We know that a lot of these teams that are doing good, the Bostons or even New York, we knew New York is good.
T-Wolves.
Yeah, the Timberwolves, we knew those guys were good. But seeing the Pacers, how they've been playing and how they've been dominating. I mean, there were some blowout wins in that victory series against Milwaukee. We've seen multiple now blowout victories against this Cleveland Cavaliers team, a team that won 64 games that is now being compared to that Atlanta Hawks team, and I think it was 2015 that won 60-something games and then got swept in the second round. Right. Now they're drawing those comparisons as they've got one win, and the Indiana Pacers have 3 and a chance to be able to close this one out. I'm not too sure that Cleveland's even going to get a win when they go back to Cleveland in their next game in Game 5. Donovan Mitchell's health is in question now. They're saying he's now questionable. Evan Mobley's been in and out of the lineup, and when he's been in the lineup like yesterday, I mean, pretty much ineffective. He had 10 points and 5 rebounds. That's not what you expect from your all-star. That's not what you expect from the reigning defensive player of the year now. Darius Garland has battled injuries. Now you've got Donovan battling these injuries. The Pacers, playing great on both sides of the ball. Tyrese Halliburton stepping up in that leadership role, but not having to do too much because, man, his team is playing phenomenal right now.
Oh, yeah.
The way that his team is playing, you look at a Pascal Siakam, who's a champion, going 9 for 10 yesterday with 21 points and 6 rebounds. You look at a Miles Turner chipped in 20 points and 7 rebounds in there. He got a few blocks to go along with it. Tyrese Halliburton hadn't had to do too much. Obi Toppin was on fire yesterday. For all of you that did watch that game. TJ McConnell had another good game. They're getting so much production from so many different guys. How scary is this Indiana Pacers team?
Yeah, they're not as scary as they look, as the Cavs made them look yesterday. Because, I mean, in the NBA, defense is about effort. And I just didn't see a whole lot of effort on Cleveland. It's like they were almost uninterested in playing any defense. I mean, Pacers had a layup line going at one point in time. Everybody's going to the hole. And I didn't see anybody on Cleveland's team try to do anything to change their fortunes. It's like they just kind of laid down. I'm not going to lie, that game was so boring to me by the fourth quarter. I was watching it with my cousin, and, man, we got talking about everything.
Yeah,
game, you know?
exactly. I think about – I tried to give him a little time in the third quarter, but after that, I was like, I'm turning this off, man. I'm not going to sit up and watch this blow out.
I literally asked him at some point late in the second half, I said, what are we watching?
Yeah.
why is it still on?
It was one of those type of games, man. From start to finish, it was a blowout. I mean, it was 38-23 in the first quarter. And like you said, I know people say, scoring's inflated and all this stuff. But in this playoffs, with this level of physicality we've seen in the playoffs, we've seen a lot of scores that look similar to, I guess, kind of older playoff games. Like, we're seeing a lot of – I mean, we watched the Denver Nuggets play earlier, and they scored 8 points in the first quarter. When you backdoor that where Indiana scores 40 in the first quarter, it's like Cleveland just didn't come to play. I know they've battled injuries, but at multiple times in this series, like you said, they look uninterested. They look dejected. They looked they
just look defeated.
Yeah, they look defeated from the jump ball. Like, I just don't understand what's going on in Cleveland. You win 64 games and you come out and have a turnout like this. I understand there's injury, but when all of you guys are on the court last night, your whole starting five was on the court. Injured or not, you were good enough to be able to play, and the whole starting five is out there, and you're getting blown out of the water in Indiana.
And let's understand the strength of Cleveland's team all season long. The reason why they would win so many games this year is because they were outscoring people.
Yes.
God, they haven't really stopped anybody all year. If you really just think about it.
Kind of shocking that Evan Mobley won the Defensive Player of the Year. I thought it would have went to somebody else.
Yeah.
I thought Jaren Jackson had a better year than Evan Mobley did. But,
hey,
I get it. Their team won 64 games. But like you said, a lot of that was outscoring people, mainly outshooting people. When you got Darius Garland and Max Strus and Donovan and all these, Evan Mobley has improved tremendously as a three-point shooter. You got all this three-point shooting going on. That's what we've seen. But as that starts to dwindle and die away, now we're seeing this Cleveland team look like they don't even have an offensive rhythm. Yeah. Like, even in the games that they won, I felt like it was just Donovan going crazy out there and everybody else just kind of trying to find the rhythm. Yeah. Maybe Donovan a drive and kick, find some other guys open. They've had no continuity on offense. I don't know what's going on with Cleveland right now.
To me, it has to come down to the coaching. You're not getting these guys aren't coming ready to play, and you can just see it. Not in so much what they do, but in what they don't do. So this team is pretty much they're cooked.
This is over with.
Yeah, LeBron can come back and play. Yeah, still won't have a chance to win this series.
He ain't gonna come back from this 3-1. I don't see that one happening. They're down 3-1 again. I think it was either Dan Gilbert. I must have been Dan Gilbert said, this Cavs team, we've come back down from 3-1 before, and I think we can do it again. Anytime Dan Gilbert starts talking, I feel like I just get irritated. I don't know why. Just stop it, man. Stop it. You had LeBron James on your team the last time you came down from 3-1. This team is not coming down from 3-1 on this Indiana team. And when you get blown out by 30, isn't the time for you to come out and say that either.
Dan Gilbert strikes me as, the modern version of Jerry Krause.
Yeah.
It's like every time this guy talking, like, man, what is he even talking about?
Like, can you just stop? Can we turn the microphone off?
Yeah, can you just make sure that you keep paying Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, and you're good.
Your job is easy after that.
That's bring in Coke and all this other stuff. You're doing too much. You're doing too much.
Yeah, this Cleveland team is not built for that. I'm like you, Pacers. I mean, they got to be done after this, man. I can't see these guys coming back from something like that, being down 3-1. every game hasn't even – most of their losses haven't even been competitive. Like, they're just losing. So
this has been the worst series of the playoffs in terms of entertaining since the OKC Memphis.
Yeah.
'Cause that was also hard to watch.
I barely watched. I skimmed through that series as well because I knew what was going to happen. And this one, I mean, it's been tough to watch. Like I said yesterday, in the third quarter, I tried to give him a little action, but then once I seen Donovan Mitchell didn't even come back out of the tunnel at halftime, I was, oh man, I'm turning this off. I'm not
got no chance.
I'm not gonna waste my Sunday watching this. But Indiana Pacers win 129-109, get a victory, a dominant victory over the Cavs.
It wasn't even as close as the score indicates.
No, they outscored Cleveland outscored Indiana 32-20 in the fourth because nobody was playing. So if it had stayed regular how it was, it would have been a 30 or 40 point blowout easily.
It was 40 points most of the game.
Yeah, for majority of the game, it was a 40-point blowout. So I mean, hey, tough one for the Cavs to be able to come back, but it's not over yet. The fat lady has not sung just yet. They'll get one more chance.
She is warming up her voice.
She's warming it up, and Donovan Mitchell is somewhere near helping her be able to warm because he might not even be playing in the game 5 for them to try to come back. So, in the words of said, they're cooked. They're done after that. I don't see them being able to come back, especially without Donovan Mitchell being a part of that. Like I said, folks, we are right in the dead center of the NBA playoffs. The other game that we saw yesterday was more entertaining, obviously, than the second game, but a game that was a defensive battle. I just talked about a second ago. I think Denver had 8 points at the end of the first quarter. This was a very gritty and hard-nosed defensive battle that we saw, and that's Oklahoma City versus the Denver Nuggets, as OKC was able to come back in that game to tie the series up. OKC had the lead to begin that first half. They had the lead for the majority of the first half. Denver outscores them 33-21 in the third quarter. They take the lead back. OKC storms back in the fourth to be able to take that lead back once again. This was a really fun game to be able to watch, really back and forth. Not a lot of scoring. I know that's what us NBA fans have gotten accustomed to. We want to see everybody shooting the threes and the score being 120-115. But this reminds me of the playoff basketball that I'm used to seeing. A lot of physicality, chess matches by the coaches as far as the substitution. One wrong substitution could take you out of the game. One wrong game play run could take you out of the game because of how close and tight-knit this game was between these two. OKC wins 92-87 over Denver at Denver. I think that was a huge win for them getting it in Denver as well. SGA gets 25 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds as well in that game. He was their leading scorer. On Denver side, Jokic had 27 and 13, but this seems like one of the hardest 27 and 13s I've ever seen him had to work for.
Yeah, he struggled.
He definitely struggled in this game, and as Oklahoma City comes back and ties this up, I think that we're starting to see the last couple of series and the last few, I guess about the last month or some change, starting to weigh on Nikola Jokic physically and mentally. He's stepped up. This is the most minutes he's played in a season. This entire season, this is the most minutes he's played in his entire career because they had so many injuries during the regular season. Jamal Murray missing so much time. Aaron Gordon missing so much time. MPJ missing so much time. That Jokic had to step up a lot. You backdoor that with their coach gets fired the last week of the season.
Right.
So now he's basically coaching. I mean, every time out he's standing up in the huddle, pointing out directions, telling people where to go. I've seen him making substitutions for guys saying, oh, bring this guy in. And now he's having to facilitate the offense fully with guys like Jamal Murray struggling and different things like that. I think we're starting to see this take a toll on Jokic because, yes, he got 27 and 13, but he was 7 for 22 in that game, something we're not used to seeing Jokic do. He's having to work for every single bucket that he gets. Yeah. A lot of that is OKC might be the best defensive team in the NBA, but, man, I think it's really just taking a toll on Jokic.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit of both. Obviously, at this point in the season, if you've played as many minutes as he has, sure, his body is worn down. But I think we're also seeing the emergence of OKC understanding how to win these types of games. Yes. This is what they couldn't do last year, even though they had a great record. So I'm thinking we're seeing and this team starting to figure out. And also, last 2 series for Denver, Jokic had some tough matchups.
Yes,
he had to deal with Zubac, and Chet Holmgren is not Swiss cheese.
No,
Hardenstein either. Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of factors come into play. Is this a series Denver can still win? It is. Do they want to have to win games like play the physical games, no, they don't want to do that.
Jokic is the only guy that's maybe Westbrook, probably the only two physical guys in that.
Yeah.
And that Murray don't want to get physical the whole game. That's why he's been almost X'd out of this series because of the amazing
Porter
defense.
and Gorder just they just rather hang around the perimeter than that.
Yeah.
Even though there's 6'9", 6'10" guys, but the biggest takeaway that I had from that game yesterday is, you know what? I think maybe OKC is finally starting to figure out what championship caliber ball looks like.
Yeah, they're finally starting to figure that out. Obviously, like you said, last year a young squad. This year still a young squad, but they bring in that Hardenstein that can be a vet for those guys. They bring in Alex Caruso, who's won a championship.
Underrated. Yeah.
Caruso was probably, and I need to go. I didn't have the show early in the season last year when Caruso got traded. But I said to some of my friends, I was like, man, this Caruso pick could be one of the biggest pickups in the NBA offseason. I think they made that trade on draft night last year on draft night. And just then I was like, man, Caruso, this is going to be huge for them. Caruso is one of the best defenders in the league.
I was about to say, it's very rare in this modern era of the NBA that you can have a guard have such a large effect on the game's outcome without even scoring 5 points.
Yeah, but without scoring, because he's going to do everything else. He's going to do all the dirty plays.
Yeah.
He's going to dive on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get after loose balls. He's going to defend the best player willingly. Each possession, I'm going to pick you up full court. And then you got a guy like Lou Dort that can do the exact same thing as well. Last night is when I was just like, okay, OKC, I've been saying it for the majority of the year, but this is the best defensive team in basketball. I've been giving that crown to Boston, but this Oklahoma City team, they are going to get after the ball each and every time. Case and Wallace off the bench has been huge for them. I love what, like you just talked about, what Caruso has brought to them. The thing for Oklahoma City to be able to win, Jalen Williams has got to step up and figure out how to score when somebody's trying to stop you from scoring. All season, he gets to score just because he gets to score, because we're killing you defensively. Then you can't guard Shea on the other side, so I'm going to get some open shots. But now when people are actively trying to stop you from scoring, yesterday he goes 2 for 13.
Yeah.
If they lose that game, all fingers are pointed at Jalen Williams in this game. He's got to find a way to get some type of offensive rhythm going in order for them to take the next step. Chet, he's doing what he can do. He's outweighed by about 100-something pounds going against Jokic. Yeah. So his body is going to be getting physically taxed. But Jalen Williams, you have got to be able to go out there and win those matchups. Because if not, even if you guys do get to I could see this Oklahoma City team getting to the finals, but I could see you getting smoked by the Celtics or by the Knicks if a Jalen Williams doesn't step up and play better in those games.
I agree. He's definitely the X factor. He's the guy that they need him to play well every single time out if they're going to try to, actually be serious about winning the championship this season.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's pivotal for them. The other point for OKC hadn't stepped up is, and he's starting to figure it out, is Shea's got to figure out how to get easier buckets. I think he's made so many tough shots throughout the season that he's expecting those tough shots to fall. But the main thing is, and I said this at the beginning of the play, or right before the playoffs started about a month ago, what is Oklahoma City and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander going to do when they don't get these foul calls? Because this is a guy that's shooting 10 to 15 free throws every single night. So, yeah, he's averaging 30. Half of that is coming from the free throw line. Yeah. What are you going to do when you're not getting those foul calls, which we've seen in these playoff series, him not getting those foul calls, and now we're seeing that 30 go to about 22, 23, 25 every night. He's barely gotten 30 in this entire playoffs because of that physicality. How is he going to respond to that? I give him credit because he hasn't been in these situations before, and he's finding a way. Yesterday, he found a way. He was shooting bad, wasn't playing that great offensively. In that fourth quarter, he started finding a way to get buckets, find a way to get back to the free throw line and get
this is part of that evolution when your MVP caliber player finds out how to take it to a different level. Yeah, SGA. He's such a ball dominant. He has to have the ball in his hands. He's kind of like Jalen Brunson. I need to have the ball to be effective. Can he take better shots? He could be a little bit more patient on offense, but the good thing about it is he can knock those shots down. He can, when he's going, he can fill it up. So I think that they're going to be okay from the point guard standpoint. But yeah, the big question is, what does Jalen Williams do?
Man, he's the X factor. He's got to realize that and the other night he did it. The other night he had 30, I think. But it's that inconsistency, similar to what Jalen Green did in Houston. We know you can get 30, but can you consistently give us 20? I'd rather you consistently give me 20 than get the one scoring outburst of 30 or 35 points. Consistently give me 20 points. If Jalen Williams can get 20 points for the rest of his time in the playoffs, Oklahoma City is going to find themselves in the NBA Finals, is what I feel like.
Yeah.
Because on the other side, you're looking at a beat-up Warriors team. You're looking at a Minnesota Timberwolves team that Anthony Edwards scares you, but nobody else, honestly, out there scares you.
I heard you say a while ago about OKC's defense being second maybe to only Boston. I think Minnesota is
Minnesota
really,
has
really
something,
good.
has something to say about that
they
as well.
have the ability to – they're so long and athletic. They have the ability to guard these perimeter guys. You're not going to get clean 3-point looks playing against Minnesota when they're hustling. And they've been showing a lot of effort on defense.
And Rudy Gobert, as much as guys like to rag on him, and I've been one of them that rag on him, but the thing is, he looks bad when he's got to get out there on those switches, and it's a James Harden, it's a Luka Doncic, it's a Steph Curry. But if you don't have one of them guys that can make a step back, falling out of bounds 3 or something like that, he's going to be able to stay. He can stay near you. He doesn't have to stay in front of you because he's 7'3".
Yeah.
So if he's near you, he's able to block the shot or alter your shot enough for it to be a miss. That's exactly what we're seeing in this series. Yeah. Jimmy Butler is a guy that thrives on getting to the cup. You can't just go straight to the cup when you got Randall and Gobert down there.
That's right.
So Oklahoma City is right there along with Minnesota as far as these great defensive teams. And if those two are the two to get to that Western Conference Finals, which I think those two will get to Western Conference Finals, that's going to be a great defensive matchup as well, and a chess match between those two to see when to play big and when to play small, because both of the teams have the ability to do both of those. Yeah, to be able to do both of those things. So that could be a really interesting one. But as far as this series, I'm like you. This could still go either way. I know OKC's got the momentum now as they head back to Oklahoma City for Game 5. But man, that you can't deny that championship DNA that they have, and you can't deny that they have the best player on the planet, which is Nikola Jokic. So,
I fully expect for the rest of this series, I fully expect to see more shooting out of Jamal Murray. I think
he's got to step up.
I think he understands. We're not very deep, and so I gotta figure out a way to get off to help Jokic, because right now they're just collapsing down on Jokic in the post, and like I say, making him work for every single thing.
Why not? Because if Murray's not going to hit the shots, I don't have to worry about anybody else. Aaron Gordon, as great as he's been playing in this playoffs, and he had 15 and 16 in the last game, which is great. But we're not scared of him from the three-point line. Okay, he makes 3 threes, let him shoot it. He's going to miss another 6.
Absolutely.
And Russell Westbrook, he's going to make 2 or 3 threes. He's going to miss another 6 threes. We're cool with that. Then they're playing so little amount of guys. Michael Porter Jr. just out there. I know he said, I got a shoulder injury that they told me I'd be out for a month and a half, and I said I'm not going to do that. It's the playoffs. I get it. You want to grind through it, but you're providing nothing out on the floor.
If you're not helping, you're actually hurting us by
He's
being
missing
on the floor.
3.
Yeah.
He went over 6
Yeah.
in yesterday's game from the 3-point line.
Yeah,
He had 3 points in that game, only made 1 shot in the entire game.
Yeah. That's not helping us.
I don't know how much that's going to help, but I know he's out there because they feel like they have nobody else. At this point, I'm going to try somebody to figure out if I have anybody else. I just don't think Denver can survive, and that's why they're ultimately going to lose, playing 6 guys, really.
Yeah.
Peyton Watson will come off the bench and play 5 minutes, and Russell Westbrook will play off the bench. That's it.
They're using less people on the roster than the Knicks.
I thought the Knicks were going to play the shortest rotation in NBA history, but Denver is beating them at their own game as far as playing absolutely nobody. I understand, you feel like these guys might not be ready. Well, we're going to have to figure out who isn't ready, because just killing your guys, I'm looking at their lineups right now. Jokic playing 43 minutes, Murray playing 41, Christian Brown playing 44 minutes.
Wow.
We're not going to – how do you expect these guys to win? Now we got to get on a flight and play in a day after we just played 40-something minutes. So, I mean, it's tough to be able to win basketball games like that. They'll be heading back for Game 5, I believe, tomorrow in Oklahoma City, where they'll be playing. This series is tied 2-2, and it's not over yet. We've seen a lot of fireworks in this series, and I definitely expect to see some more. Folks, we're going to take a quick break here on Centex Primetime. When we come back, we still got some more games to talk about. The Knicks versus the Celtics coming on in about 15 to 20 minutes here in just a minute. And we also got to talk about the T-Wolves taking on the Dubs tonight at 9 o'clock. We'll talk a little bit of quick takes in between that as well. So stay tuned. Stay locked in right here on Centex Primetime. We'll be right back after this short break.
MCC has definitely benefited me most on not only what I want to do, but who I aspire to be. Expect every professor to help you become who you want to be and more. Create your own success at MCC.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, founder and CEO of Lighthouse Streaming. Over the last 4 years, we've had some tremendous successes, none of which could have been accomplished without you, our clients, and our viewers. From my family and the staff of Lighthouse Streaming, thank you.
My name is Tashay Sayes. I'm a music major at MCC, and I'm so happy to be here. It's crazy how I got here.
My name is Emily Adams. I'm the marketing director for the Texas Asphalt Pavement Association. We are here at our 3rd annual MAPS conference at the Waco Convention Center in beautiful Waco, Texas. I think the event has exceeded all of our expectations. We had an amazing turnout and great sessions and nothing but positive feedback. So this is our first conference in a convention center, and I'm used to working with hotels where there's like one person to talk to for everything. And so at the last minute, we realized we needed audio and video services. And so I contacted Lighthouse Streaming and Audio, and they were very quick to respond. They were able to, even though it was the last minute, they were able to fit us into their schedule, and they provided us with technicians and equipment to record our sessions, and we'll be able to provide the people who are speaking at those sessions with great video of themselves. I would highly recommend them. I highly recommend Lighthouse Streaming and Audio. I had nothing but a pleasant experience, and if we come back to Waco again, which we hope to do, I know I'll be in touch with them.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, CEO of Lighthouse Streaming, and you're watching Centex Sports Network.
My name is Debbie Kimbrell. I am the administrative assistant here at Anderson Chapel. I also work as part of the media ministry. It was great working with Lighthouse. Everyone was very professional, came in to do video recording and streaming for a conference that we hosted here on time. They did what they needed to do, was seamless and transparent. It was great. And feedback, everyone was impressed. So it went out, it was a conference level, so a state level event, and everyone was impressed with the product and the result. We got the DVDs too, which people purchased, and they were impressed with those. It was great overall.
MCC has definitely benefited me most on not only what I want to do, but who I aspire to be. Expect every professor to help you become who you want to be and more. Create your own success at MCC.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, founder and CEO of Lighthouse Streaming. Over the last 4 years, we've had some tremendous successes, none of which could have been accomplished without you, our clients, and our viewers. From my family and the staff of Lighthouse Streaming, thank you.
Hello and welcome back into Centex Prime Time. I am your host, Jalen Gillis. Still here in hour number 2 of the show today. Said had to jump off of here. He'll be back with us some more throughout this week as we get ready for another great week of sports here today on Centex Prime Time. Folks, just got done wrapping up talking about Oklahoma City getting a narrow victory over the Denver Nuggets. Also talking about the Cavaliers being down 3-1 against the Indiana Pacers, even though they won 64 games this year. None of those games are going to help you as soon as you get to the playoffs. Playoffs is another beast. Right now, Indiana looking like they're ready to make back-to-back Eastern Conference Championship appearances. And the Cleveland Cavaliers, looking like a second-round exit once again is what it looks like. I know that they battled injuries, but I don't know how they overcome the amount of injuries I don't know how they overcome this 3-1 deficit taking on a Pacers team that can defend, a Pacers team that can score in multiple different ways, and a Pacers team whose star player doesn't even have to do a whole lot. When Tyrese Halliburton can go out there and get 30, 40-plus wins with him scoring 10 points, hey, we're all good here. And Indiana's what it seems like. So Indiana looks like they're on their way back. The New York Knicks will be taking on the Boston Celtics in just a minute. We'll talk about them. Also, the Minnesota Timberwolves will be taking on the Golden State Warriors at the 9 o'clock game. First, I want to start with the game that's getting ready to come on in just a little bit, and that's the New York Knicks versus these Boston Celtics. New York's got a 2-1 lead over the Boston Celtics, but the Knicks losing last game already starts to bring questions into people's mind, even though they had a 2-0 lead to start this series. This is a Boston team that a lot of people felt like will blow out the Knicks. This is a Boston team that a lot of people felt like were champions to go back and win the finals. I'm the same way. I understand what Oklahoma City's doing. I understand that Boston's down in this series. Until Boston loses, I'm going to have Boston as the favorite to come out in the East. This team is deep. This team has got 2 stars with Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown. They've got great complementary role players, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Peyton Pritchard, Al Horford. Got a great supporting cast. That's why I never felt like Boston was out of this series. Stephen A. said something earlier that I completely 100% agree with. He said whoever wins this game tonight in Game 4 is going to win the series. I feel the same way. Even though, like I said, I'm not counting Boston out. Even if they lose this, I'm not counting Boston out until they lose. But with it being a 2-1 lead, if Boston comes back and ties this, I think New York's done. I don't know if New York will win another game, honestly, because the 2 that they did get, they scraped by and got. It took last-second efforts for them to be able to win those games. Jalen Brunson had to be Superman in the fourth quarter for them to be able to win those games. When Jalen Brunson's not being Superman, what's going to happen? Is it going to be a game like we saw on Saturday where the Knicks blow them out 115-93, complete and total dominant performance from the Boston Celtics? Is that what I think that's closer to what we might see here tonight. Karl Anthony Towns had 21 points and 15 boards, wasn't enough. Jalen Brunson had 27 points in that game, wasn't enough, as the Celtics won 115-93. Jason Tatum, 22 points, 7 assists, 9 rebounds. Jaylen Brown, 5 assists, 5 rebounds in that game. And I said this last week, too, when we were talking about this. For all the people that, you see Jaylen Brown, he's the real best player on the team. Jaylen Brown, he the one got Finals MVP. Jaylen Brown, he's the one that got Eastern Conference playoff MVP. Not Jason Tatum. He's the best player. Absolutely not. I've never subscribed to that. At no point in their careers did I ever think Jaylen Brown was better than Jason Tatum, including when Jason Tatum came in as a rookie and Jaylen Brown was already on that team. He was already better than Jaylen Brown, in my opinion. But these games in these playoffs where Tatum's been hurt or where Tatum's just not having a good game, I mean, we've definitely seen games with Tatum. And I hate that when it comes to this debate, I become a Jason Tatum apologist because I'm not just the biggest Jason Tatum fan. Not because his game is terrible or something, it's mainly just because he plays for Boston. I just don't like any Boston team. But Tatum, it leads the team in every stat. He's their leading scorer. He's their leading rebounder. He's their leading assist man. What else does he have to do for him to prove that he's their best player? But we still have people that, Jaylen Brown is the best player in this one. Well, can Jaylen Brown show up in a game where Tatum's having a bad game? Can Jaylen Brown score 30 points when Tatum's got 15? Most of the time, if Tatum's got 18 points, Jaylen Brown's got 18 points. If Tatum's got 23 points, Jaylen Brown's got 23 points. That's how it goes most of the time. Why can't it be, Tatum's not having a good game here, let me pick it up. Let me pick my play up, and I'm going to drop 30 points in this game. It's not what we see. So we need to kill the narrative. They always try to make the teammates go against each other, but can we – Jason Tatum's better than Jaylen Brown. I think that should be simple, in my opinion. I think Tatum's just a better basketball player. But in this series with the Knicks versus the Celtics, they get ready to play in just a couple of minutes. Man, I see the Celtics winning another one in New York. Now, New York, the atmosphere is going to be absolutely bananas. New York is a one-of-a-kind place. Their fan base is a one-of-a-kind fan base. It's like an NBA championship parade after each and every single Knicks victory in the playoffs. They got guys with YouTube channels and TikTok channels and all type of stuff that just go out and put a camera out and interview random people after the Knicks win. And you would think that they just three-peated and won 3 championships in a row, even if they just won 1 game. That's just how the New York Knicks fans are. That's really how New York guys are just in general, I think. But the atmosphere is going to be crazy tonight. They know how important this game is. They know they need this game. They know that they need this game in order for them to be able to come out and be successful in this series. Because if you let this get tied 2-2, going back to Beantown, going back to Boston, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. We know what this Celtics team is made of. We know that this Knicks team is scrappy, but scrappy is only going to get you so far. They're not more talented than the Celtics. The Celtics had the best player in the series with Tatum. In the one Celtics win, it was a convincing win. In both of New York's wins, they were kind of scraped by, last-minute stuff type of wins. So it's going to be a tough one. I'm excited to watch this game tonight. That game is at 6:30, getting ready to come on in just a few minutes on the show. Getting ready to come on in just a few minutes, I believe on TNT is where that game, or on ESPN, as a matter of fact, is where that game will be on. So that's going to be a really fun one. In the night game, we'll talk about that a little bit later, the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Golden State Warriors. But the first game, if I got to put my money on it, I'm going to go with Boston. I'm going with Boston. I know New York's at home. I know they got a 2-1 lead. I know what Brunson does in the fourth quarter. I think they messed up letting Boston get one, and especially the way that Boston got one in a blowout victory. I see Boston getting this one, and I see Boston winning this maybe in 6. I can see this being over in 6. Boston wins tonight. I can see New York not winning another game. It sounds crazy because they went up 2-0 on the Celtics, but they might go up 2-0 and then lose 4 straight. We don't see that many times. I can think back to, Miami Heat versus the Dallas Mavericks in 06, where Dallas went up 2-0 and then Miami goes back home, wins 3 at home, and then wins Game 6 in Dallas as well. So I haven't seen it much, but I'm expecting Beantown, Boston, to stand up and be able to go out there and get this win. Expecting another good game from Tatum. Should see a good game from Jalen Brown, but, he's a little bit iffy. And the role players, Drew Holiday, not 100% healthy, but now starting to get his legs back on him, looks healthy enough to play. Peyton Pritchard still doing Peyton Pritchard things. 23 points off the bench in their last game. I know a lot of debate for, 6th man of the year, even though he won. It could have been Ty Jerome. Hey, Ty Jerome showed he's not like that. Pritchard, whenever he gets whenever he gets put into the starting lineup, he's effective. Ty Jerome in those games that Donovan Mitchell missed, or those games that Darius Garland missed, looked like the Ty Jerome that was in the NBA the last 4 or 5 years. Completely ineffective at all. So Peyton Pritchard, I'm obviously taking him over him. But Pritchard, I expect him to have another good game tonight. And the role players that are going to step up and play big. But mainly I think the Boston Stars are going to step up and play big. Jason Tatum will have another complete game. Jalen Brown will probably have a good game in this one tonight. And like I said, Knicks might not win a game if that is the outcome for them. That game coming on in just a couple of minutes. We'll talk about the T-Wolves and Warriors as we get closer and get ready to close out the show. Got a couple of quick takes here before we get back into some NBA action. The NBA draft lottery is tonight. Draft lottery getting ready to start. I think it's already starting right now, I believe. And, they go through and pick to see who is going to be able to get the number 1 pick. Obviously, Brooklyn's got a great chance, but there's teams like Philly who are really hoping to get their number 1 pick, even though Philadelphia has shown most of the time they don't know what to do with their number 1 pick. We can all think back to, as we just got done talking about Jason Tatum, we can all think back to when the Sixers traded up in the draft, traded with Boston to get the number 1 pick, just to pick Markelle Fultz, who is, I don't know if he's in the NBA or not. I know Fultz had a lot of injuries and all that kind of stuff. Regardless of the situation, you pick Markelle Fultz over Jason Tatum, and you could have had Jason Tatum on the Sixers. But instead, Jason Tatum is a Boston Celtic, so the Sixers desperately are looking for a moment like that again where they can come out and get the number 1 pick. Everybody's trying to get Cooper Flagg. Obviously, I think Brooklyn's got the best chance of being able to do it. They're absolutely terrible. The Charlotte Hornets will be right in that mix as well as a team that can go out there and get that number 1 pick in the draft lottery. But the lottery is really a crapshoot. They put all the golf balls or whatever it is, the ping pong balls in one thing, and they pick it some kind of way. I think that there's probably a better way you could pick a better way you could pick who has the number 1 draft. I like what the NFL does, man. If you were the sorriest, you get the number 1 pick. Let's not do this. I know the NBA is worried about people tanking and all that, and that's why they stray away from doing it. But man, whoever's the sorriest, just go out there and get the number 1 pick. That's what I feel. I think that's how it should go. And so it's going to be very interesting as they get closer and closer to that to see who it is. I want to see if I can pull up the list right here. I think they might have already gone through. The draft lottery and who gets that number 1 pick. But we'll try to find that as we get throughout the show just a little bit further. Who is going to be the team with the number 1 pick? And I think they might have put it up here. So, number 1 pick going to the Dallas Mavericks. Wow. That is going to be that makes for a very, very interesting offseason, or really just next month, with the Dallas Mavericks getting the number 1 pick. That means we're going to see Cooper Flagg. Wow. Now, this is where, and we'll talk about it more throughout the show, but just on first reaction, this is where those conspiracies about the NBA start to come in. So they magically have to trade Luka Doncic from their team. He goes to the Lakers. The Spurs getting the number 1 pick last year. Wembanyama get another international superstar. Now, after Luka gets traded, they get the number 1 pick, and they're going to get Cooper Flagg. Yeah, at some point throughout the show, I'll be tapping in with a couple Mavs fans. Kyrell is definitely one of them who's on the show a lot. How does he feel about it? But just on first glimpses, I mean, it's just live reaction to the draft lottery, which just happened coming out. Cooper Flagg headed to the Dallas Mavericks to team up with AD, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, Kyrie Irving whenever he comes back from injury. This could give them some hope, but like I said, does not help whatsoever the people that think the NBA is just one big conspiracy. Because out of the same year, I ain't never seen the Mavericks get the number 1 pick. Even when they got Luka at number 5, I think. I ain't never seen the Mavericks get the number 1 pick. Now, all of a sudden, the first year they trade Luka, even though they weren't nowhere close to the worst team in the NBA, they get the number 1 pick. So, Twitter will be in an uproar by the end of the night. But that's huge news. I mean, Cooper Flagg heading to Dallas. I feel like I might have to get a ticket or two, man, to go out there. I'm already going to be in Dallas this summer to watch Paige Buckets to go out there with my girl Enrique and for the Dallas Wings. But, man, I might have to try to catch a Cooper Flagg game whenever Dallas comes down to Houston. Maybe I'll catch that. Houston Rockets get the number 10 pick. That's good not because I feel like somebody's going to be great there for us to pick at number 10, but we need trade pieces. Put that number 10 pick in Jalen Green on the first thing smoking the Phoenix, and let's go get Kevin Durant, man. Let's stop playing around before somebody else goes out there and get him. Let's get up and get Kevin Durant. But the Dallas Mavericks win the draft lottery. The number 2 pick will be the San Antonio Spurs. I think that is going to be huge as well. Just as big of a story as Cooper Flagg going to Dallas. You throw Ace Bailey in with that young talent that they've already got, with a De'Aaron Fox, with a Stephon Castle who just won Rookie of the Year, with a Victor Wembanyama. Man, the Spurs might be looking like something. Then the Sixers get the number 3 pick. Obviously, they're probably pissed about that because their team is in shambles. They're absolutely terrible. They paid Paul George a boatload of money for him to be garbage. Joel Embiid didn't even hardly play this season. Tyrese Maxey is kind of just stuck out there in handcuffs as he's really one of the only good players left in Philadelphia. Charlotte Hornets get the number 4 pick, but I feel like the Charlotte Hornets get the number 4 pick every single year, so there's no point in trying to break that down because it doesn't matter. Charlotte's still going to be sorry. They honestly need to give somebody else a team, man, and get that team out of Charlotte. Sorry for any of my people from North Carolina that's watching this and that's a Hornets fan, but hey, man, it's not working. The Hornets get the number 4 pick every single year. Nothing about that is thrilling with them going out to get the number 4 pick once again. But to round out the top 5, the Utah Jazz get the number 5 pick in this as well. So interesting, very interesting top 5 there. Washington at 6, New Orleans at 7, Brooklyn at 8, Toronto at 9, and Houston at 10 to wrap up the top 10. San Antonio's got another pick in the lottery as they get back in the lottery. They got the number 14 pick in this draft as well. So that adds a lot to it. We'll talk about that some more as we get throughout the rest of this week. We'll get some more people here on the show, talk about the Dallas Mavericks and what that means by them going out there and potentially getting Cooper Flagg, or do they parlay this into something else? Maybe they don't want Cooper Flagg. I don't see them not wanting Cooper Flagg, but that's an interesting conversation to see if the Mavericks maybe take that pick and something else and try to get another star and they can pair with Anthony Davis out there since their championship window is right now. You let their GM, Nico Harrison, tell it that their championship window is right now. I'm not so sure about that, but future does look bright when you think about a guy like Cooper Flagg coming to Dallas. What are the odds? So draft lottery turns out to be another good one once again as the Dallas Mavericks are going to be getting Cooper Flagg, man. What a crazy turn of events to see right there. Another basketball news, Michael Jordan is returning to basketball, just not in the way that we're used to seeing it. He is going to be teaming up with NBC as NBC announces. We all know that there's been a battle for basketball rights as far as the television rights, and NBC is going to be getting NBA action once again next season as they've been able to buy into it. Joining them next season will be one and only GOAT man himself, Mr. Michael Jordan, heading out to NBC. And not sure what role he'll be in. They just said he's joining their team. I don't know if that means he's going to talk once a week, if he's going to talk once a month, if he's going to talk once a season. Not sure what that's going to all going to include. But anytime Michael Jordan sits around and talks about basketball, everyone should be listening. So I think that's huge for them to get him. Obviously, people like Stephen A. were fanning out, being fanboys when the news dropped, and said, oh, he's going to be legendary. We don't even know what he's going to do. Michael Jordan can just be showing up and say, hi, I'm Michael Jordan. Welcome to NBC Basketball. We don't know what's going to happen. So I'm not going to be fanning out over it. But if he does have any role talking about basketball, come on, man. We're talking about the original GOAT. Some people still believe he is the GOAT. I got LeBron as my best player of all time, but doesn't take away from the greatness at all of Michael Jordan. Him joining NBC is going to be huge. NBC Basketball just coming back to the NBA is going to be huge, man. It's going to bring back a nostalgia that a lot of people grew up watching, especially if you grew up watching Mike. Most of his games were going to be on NBC Basketball if it was a nationally televised game, so that's going to be huge for them as they pick him up. Derek Carr, as we switch a little bit to the NFL, Derek Carr is retiring from the NFL as that shoulder injury. He doesn't want to keep battling with that and having that nagging injury going further and further. So he is retiring from the NFL. Obviously, first off, I want to shout out to Derek Carr, man, on a great career. Wasn't going to play this year, most likely, so he said, I'm going to go ahead and hang it up. Made a lot of money, had a great career. I agree with him. Just go ahead and hang it up, man. I think guys try to linger on and stay around a little bit too long when they're past their welcome. I know nobody in New Orleans is mad at all. No type of shade or slight to Derek Carr, but they hate him. Everybody in New Orleans hates him. They don't want them there as their quarterback. They're probably going to hate the new guy that's there now as they decided not to take Shador or anybody else that I would have thought would have been a good quarterback out of this. Instead, they take Tyler Shook out of Louisville, and they'll take Tyler Shook out of Louisville, and he's going to be competing for that starting quarterback job with Spencer Rattler. As I'm looking at some live reactions of the Dallas Mavericks getting that number 1 pick, they had a 1.8% chance to be able to get it, y'all. I know that I don't mean to go back to it, but it's pretty wild to have a 1.8% chance to be able to win the lottery, and you go out there and win it. And the same year y'all trade Luka, it's just a little strange. That's all I'm saying, NBA. Adam Silver, I know you got to do your B613 stuff and cover up what's really going on as you guys make out your stories in the NBA, but this one is a little wild. How they get the number 1 pick right after they trade Luka? They ain't never had the number 1 pick. They had it was about 10 teams with worse records in front of them. They had the 4th longest odds by any winner of all time in the NBA draft lottery for them to go out there and get it, a 1.8% chance. But back over to Derek Carr, man. Derek Carr retires from football. Obviously drafted to the Raiders, the then Oakland Raiders before they moved to Vegas, out of Fresno State. Really good quarterback at Fresno State. As a matter of fact, he used to get whooped by his current head coach. Well, I guess his head coach until he just retired, and Kellen Moore. They were both out there in the Mount West Conference, Boise State and Fresno State. But Derek Carr leaving football, going to leave behind a decent legacy. He had some moments where people were, I mean, he could have potentially won an MVP, and I want to say 2014 with the Raiders, that year that they got smacked by the Texans in the playoffs because Derek Carr got hurt. So he's had some great moments in the NFL as well. I think back to those arguments on First Take with Keyshawn Johnson and trying to say that Derek Carr is a top quarterback and how much better he was than Dak Prescott. Obviously, I don't believe that, but Derek Carr, nonetheless, still a really, really good quarterback. Speaking of quarterbacks, the probably most talked about quarterback, I guess since Tom Brady retired. Can we chill? I know we're going to analyze every single thing that Shedeur does. I heard he puts his left shoe on the first before he puts on his right one. Can we just take a chill pill and just relax a little bit? Right now, he is the fourth-string quarterback. Can we just let him be the fourth-string quarterback? He can work his way up the depth chart. He can do whatever. But analyzing every single throw and he didn't put a good spin on this ball. Well, it looks like now we're seeing why Shedeur fell to the fifth round. Like, come on, man. It's just too much. The summer just started. Just go have some fun. It's going to be hot outside. Go enjoy some time outside. Get some sun. Do something besides watching Shedeur Sanders to see if he puts his left foot out in front of his right foot as he's walking over to get some drink from the water cooler. Like, it's ridiculous, y'all. This is going to be the most covered fifth-round pick ever. Ever. We're not going to know if he can play or not for a while. So until then, I guess we're going to overanalyze every single move that he makes and everything that he goes out there and decides to do. Yeah, so let's just chill on Shedeur, man. He's looking good in rookie minicamp, I guess. I don't know how you look bad in rookie minicamp. I don't know how you look good either. You're playing against a bunch of other rookies that aren't even going to make the team. Still haven't had OTAs. He doesn't do any private workouts. What I can take away from it is they say he shows up early and he leaves late. That's always a good thing. Whatever you're in, whatever profession you're in, whatever you're doing. If you're a guy that's one of the first guys to get there, you're one of the last guys to leave, shows that you wanted and put in the work, and that's what Shedeur is going to do. He's going to show that he can put in the work. He's going to show that he can be a franchise QB just like he thought when he was going to be a first-round pick he could be a franchise QB. I just don't want to overanalyze every single tiny thing that he does, even though I know we're already going to do that anyway. Softball tournament is going on in the NCAA, the World Series, Softball World Series. It's going on. I believe I watched a clip where Oklahoma Sooners, or no, I think it was Boston College, Boston University gets matched up with Oklahoma in the first round. Obviously, you know, when you're one of those teams that barely make it, you're going to play one of the top teams. But their reaction was absolutely hilarious to the fact that they got matched up with the Oklahoma Sooners, who have won 4 national titles in a row, which is crazy, by the way. They get OU. Everybody went from being happy that their name got called to instantly putting their hands in their head and just sinking back in their seat when they realized who they were playing. And they're going to play the 4 times in a row national champs in Oklahoma Sooners. So I thought that was funny, them switching up their reaction immediately to saying, okay, hold on. Yeah, we're happy we made it, but we know what's about to happen on Friday when they play Oklahoma Sooners. So shout out to them, man. Shout out to Oklahoma going for their 5th run at it. And shout out to MCC, as last week we got a chance to cover the NJCAA Region 5 tournament, softball tournament, right here in Waco, Texas at the Highlands, as MCC was able to punch their ticket to the national tournament once again. Last year they came up just short in the national championship game. Coach Chris Berry going to be looking to get back to that national championship once again to finish what they started last year, finish what they started really a few years ago when they got to the Natty, just weren't able to close that deal. This year, looking to close the deal. They looked great throughout the tournament, were able to beat one of their rival schools in the Temple Leopards as they punched their ticket, head back to the Natty, man. So shout out to MCC and the softball team, as we'll be looking forward to watching them in this national tournament once again, and potentially have another dominating performance in the national tournament like we saw last year until that championship game. This time I hope they'll be able to close the deal out there. Shout out to them and MCC Baseball too, as well, as we'll be keeping you guys up to date on what is going on. And already seeing the pictures get put out, Cooper Flag next to AD and Kyrie as far as getting that number 1 pick. We're going to see a lot of that, y'all. This kind of crazy. that Cooper Flag is going to be headed out to Dallas. And the star power that's coming to Dallas, man, the WNBA team gets paid buckets. Men's team, the Mavs, they go out and get Cooper Flag, man. I like it. I like what direction they're going in. A couple more quick takes here before we talk about this Timberwolves versus Warriors game coming on tonight at 9 o'clock. Cam Ward already looking very impressive as a leader in Tennessee through his first couple practices in OTAs and rookie minicamp. Haven't even gotten to OTAs just yet. Rookie minicamp, Cam Ward already looking good out there, already looking like a really good leader. Cam Ward is going to be fine in Tennessee. I think everybody wonders, as they should, it's the number one pick, what's going to happen, what's going on, how is this guy going to do, is he going to be a bust? Let's just give him some time is all I got to say. Let's give Cam Ward some time. If he comes out this first season and doesn't look like a world beater and doesn't look like Patrick Mahomes, can we just give the guy some time? That's all I ask that we do. Give him some time. Same now I said with Shador, but it's going to be on a different scale with Cam Ward because he's going to be the starter from day one. Can we just give this guy some time to learn the offense, learn how the NFL works, get some good players around him? I got some decent players. I love that they want to sign Tyler Lockett in the offseason. They already got a veteran receiver out there in Calvin Ridley. They got a veteran running back in TP, Tony Pollard. I like those guys around him, but let them build this offense some. Let's not just throw Cam Ward to the wolves when he throws 2 or 3 picks in one of those games. Let's get a guy some time. We know he's got the talent. We know he's got the leadership. We know he's not scared of getting it out the mud. This is a guy that started at Incarnate Word as a 0-star. Goes to Washington State, then to Miami, become the number 1 pick. Great story Cam Ward has. He's going to be looking to add to it out there in Tennessee as well. The number 2 draft pick in the NFL draft was Travis Hunter. In rookie minicamps, obviously he's looking pretty good. But one of the things I found interesting is that they're trying to play Travis Hunter full-time on offense and have him be a part-time defender. Now, I've always said from the beginning of football season to now, I like Travis Hunter better as a defender. I like him as a corner. I think he has all the skills to be a complete and total shutdown corner. And he can be an all-pro receiver as well. I just liked him better at corner. But as soon as he got drafted to Jacksonville, I thought, okay, hey, this is an offensive move. They're going to put this guy. They want him to score touchdowns. Yes, he can do some things on defense, but they want him to come out here so he can score, so he can get yards, so he can get catches. You pair him up with Brian Thomas, who was arguably the best rookie receiver in the NFL. Only reason he didn't get that is because a lot of people say Malik Neighbors, who is great as well. They just happen to be teammates at LSU once again, similar to some Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase type stuff. I've seen it again. He's out there in Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence got a huge deal. He's going to make up for it and prove it now. Last year he got hurt as they were already having a bad season, but he got hurt on top of it to kind of pile on to that. And this year he's going to come back and play great. We went and got you Travis Hunter. We got you Brian Thomas. We got rid of those terrible contracts that we paid in Christian Kirk and to Gabe Davis, even though Christian Kirk is on my Houston Texans now. They got rid of those. What are you going to do now, Trevor Lawrence? You got to go out here and prove it. It's going to start by getting the ball to Travis Hunter. I think Travis Hunter is going to be phenomenal, even though, like I said, they're planning on playing him on offense more than defense. I would do it the other way around, but I get why they're doing it. They're putting all their eggs in one basket, pushing it towards the offense. The offense is going to have to produce. Whether the defense does good or not, the offense has to come out there and produce, and I think that's exactly what they're going to go out there and do with Travis Hunter out there as well. The NFL off season is starting to heat up right around the corner. We're going to get OTAs. We're going to start getting training camp, all of these things. We'll be keeping you up to date all summer long. Like I said, I'll be tuning in to each and every one of these training camps so I don't have to talk about baseball as much. For those of you that like baseball that watch the show, I will be doing some more baseball content as we get further into the summer. Right now, we still got basketball, so it's saving me right now. I'll be doing more baseball content, but I'll also be doing a lot of off-season content. And like I said at the beginning of the show, a lot of local content as we've got a lot of good teams here locally on the high school level. And, of course, the Baylor Bears as well. See what Sawyer Robinson and those guys are going to do in his second year under the helms or at the helms at quarterback as well. But I'll be doing a lot of NFL offseason talk to go along with it. In more NFL news, the Chiefs be hosting the Broncos on Christmas night, which means We get more football on Christmas. I'm not sure how to feel about that. I always liked football on Thanksgiving, basketball on Christmas. But football has gotten greedy, as usual, as they always do. And they're getting these huge deals from people like Netflix and all this going on that they're going to start putting more football on Christmas. I don't know how the NBA feels about that. I'm 100% positive that the NFL doesn't care at all how the NBA feels about that, them stealing their shine. As long as football is being played, football is going to be king. That's what it always is here in America. Football is going to be king, especially down here in the South and Texas. It's going to be about football. If we got to pick between football and basketball, it's going to be football every single time. But they're extending it out. They're going to play some more on Christmas night as the Chiefs will be taking on the Broncos. Broncos, as of right now, I haven't come out with my picks. We'll do all of that stuff as we get closer to the season start in August and all that stuff. But right now, I got my eye on that Denver Broncos team, and I think the Denver Broncos might be able to upset the Kansas City Chiefs as far as winning that division for the first time. And I feel like the Kansas City Chiefs have won that division for almost a decade straight at this point. It's been over 5 years for sure that they won that division. I think the Broncos might be able to take Kansas City off that throne as far as winning that division. But that's for later on. We'll get further on. I got to see what they look like at training camp. Got to see how these rosters fill out. People are still going to be adding some more people. Teams are going to be adding more people as we get closer and closer to OTAs and closer to the training camp as well. Folks, just a couple minutes here left on the show. I want to talk about the games coming on tonight. Right now, the Celtics taking on the Knicks. They're battling. Celtics have a 13-4 lead. Now, I know that doesn't mean anything. I know that doesn't mean much because the Celtics had a lead in both the games that they lost to. But like I just told y'all a couple minutes ago before the game started, I like the Celtics winning this game. But he's tactical. And he knows how to coach. And he's proven that. And he's not the guy that you want to give confidence in starting to let the team come back. I remember Joe Mazzulla from when he was playing in West Virginia when they upset one of my favorite college teams of all time in that 2010 Kentucky Wildcats team that had John Wall, Boogie Cousins, Eric Bledsoe, I believe Patrick Patterson was on that team. A lot of guys on that team. That's one of my all-time favorite college teams. John Wall was my favorite player in high school, all that kind of stuff. So I remember Joe Mazzulla from that team because that West Virginia team upset that Kentucky team from that. This is a gritty dude. This is a guy that doesn't care. Obviously, you can see that if you just watch any of his interviews. He doesn't care about much, but he does know how to win. He's the right guy for that job out there in Boston. You give him confidence, he starts to breed confidence into his team, starts to get ugly. That looks like what we could be on the verge of tonight. On Saturday, the Knicks got blown out. I wouldn't be shocked by seeing another blowout here tonight. I know they're in New York. I know the fans are going to be crazy. It's going to be people all in the streets, all this kind of stuff. The Rats are going to go inside for the night so the Knicks can have a good game. The Rats are not going to come out in New York unless they lose, I guess, tonight. But I got Boston dominating this one. The other game coming on tonight at 9 o'clock, Minnesota versus the Golden State Warriors. In the last game, we're seeing Minnesota. We're seeing Anthony Edwards do what he's supposed to do and just drive to the cup. This team has no rim protection. Anthony Edwards has to go to the cup. I said that last week on the show. What do we see in Game 3? Anthony Edwards attacking with a full head of steam, getting downhill, dunking on people. He got dunked on by Jonathan Kuminga, and he started going so crazy after that. We forgot that Anthony Edwards even got dunked on. He went and caught him a body on the other side. He started getting active. He started getting to the cup. He started putting his head down and getting to the rim. That is the best part about Anthony Edwards' game. I know he can shoot the three, but he falls in love with it. He went 5 for 14 on threes. I would like to see that be more of like 3 for 8, 3 for 9. Not 5 for 14. 14 threes is, even though they won, 14 threes is too many for me. I feel like, man, just get to the cup, bro. That's what you're best at. That's your superpower that nobody can take away from you. You had 36 points in that 102-97 victory in Game 3. We'll have to see more of the same tonight. As the Warriors, they've got championship DNA. Jimmy Butler had 33 in that last game. I'm expecting him to come out with the same. But what if Podziemski steps up and has a good game? Jonathan Kuminga, he's not going to have 30 again, but he's just proven that the NBA can be a very, very harsh business at times, as we're starting to see Jonathan Kuminga not get any playing time, and then when he does come in, he gets 30. You start like, why didn't he play him? Then you remember, oh wait, Jonathan Kuminga's in a contract year, and so maybe we're not going to play you, so you don't get the chance to prove that you're worth $100-something million. If we don't play you, We can pay you $40 million. We can pay you $50 million. Not saying that's not exactly why it happened, but that does have to play a part in it. I have to believe that, because how do you go from not playing at all to now we're going to play and you go out there and get 30? He's going to need to have another good game. Jimmy Butler's going to need to have another 30. But Buddy Hield and Brandon Pajemski is the one that's got to step up their game. They've got to come in and chip in with some points. And Draymond's got to do something else besides just foul people. All I've seen Draymond do this whole playoffs is foul hard and get flagrants and cuss out the refs. All of that is cool when Steph is out there, but when Steph's not out there and you get 2 points and you go 1 for 4 with 2 rebounds and you foul out, no, you're not contributing whatsoever to the team. Only way you come out there and get a victory is if Draymond Green steps up and plays better in this game. He's got to find a way to be able to step up and make some shots. He's made a couple in the series. He's going to make some more, at least facilitate better if you're going to go out there tonight and be able to get a win. If not, they go up 3-1 and they're dead in the water, man. It'll be Minnesota heading back to Minnesota to the Target Center where they'll close it out without Steph, because Steph, as of right now, won't be able to come back into a potential Game 6 if it even gets that far. It might not get that far. They might gentlemen sweep him just like they did the Lakers. So I wouldn't be surprised by that. Tonight, I got the Minnesota Timberwolves winning, man. I don't see how they can win a game, how the Warriors can win a game without Steph. I don't think this Warriors team is actually that good. I think it was really more of a lack of offense and a lack of what my Houston Rockets had, is why Golden State is even in the second round. They won 7 games with a team that couldn't get a guy to score over 20 points barely. I don't think Golden State's that good, and it's starting to get proven here. Obviously, they don't have Steph. I didn't have Golden State winning this one with or without Steph, so I think Minnesota wins it tonight, and they go close it out into Target Center. I think that'll be over with for them. So that game coming on at 9 o'clock. The Knicks and the Celtics playing right now. As you see, the Knicks have just come back and made it a 14-16 game. That New York Knicks crowd starting to get into it. Jalen Brunson making some shots. This is going to be a great game, folks. I'm getting ready to go over and watch that. But we're out of time here today on Centex Primetime. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We'll be here all week, folks. We got plenty to talk about. We'll obviously talk about Cooper Flagg getting ready to head to Dallas. We'll talk some more about these NBA playoffs. We'll talk about this NFL offseason some more. Now we've got the draft out the way. We're starting to hit that second wave of free agency that hits after the draft. Teams are coming together. The locker room is starting to open back up. It's a good time of year for football to be able to really dial in and talk about this team. So we'll be talking some more about that. We'll talk some more about these playoffs. And we'll get some local topics going this week as well. So stay tuned. We'll have more coming up this week. But for today, we're out of time. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on Centex Primetime. Signing off here today is Jalen Gillis. We will see you guys tomorrow, same place, same time. Everybody have a great evening.